So part of the study that we're doing here is we're going through the runes. So when you say, what the fuck's that? The curriculum is pretty much based on Deck of Ra. Is that looking like a mirror? Do you know what I mean?
Really? I mean, I know what you mean.
No,
It's
what
just
I'm
a
saying
light
is when I see it in the thing, it's looking backwards, like I'm putting it in a mirror. So I don't know
no,
if
it's
it looks
fine.
like that.
Correct. Correct.
Isn't it
It's fine. I
interesting?
can see it.
Okay, Deck of Ra and the memoirs and the initiate. So lots of information in there. The assumption is, or what we prefer, is that you've read the books or at least purchased them so that you have an idea on what's going on. And we work from there. That's basically your textbook, so to speak. And so what's happened with them, or what we do with them, is the Deck of Ra has a card, but it also has a rune associated with each card. And that rune, when you work with it, you draw it, you encompass, you embody it, that becomes a sigil. And the sigil's alive, and the sigil carries juju. And that's what we're working on for the week. And so our first card, or the first one we're working with, is the Mooster.
Put it a bit clearer so you can see the rune on it. Right now, you can't see the rune or the sigil. No, put it up. Yeah, even so. Yeah, that's better. What I love about the Deck of Ra is that it's, so obviously you can read tarot and have a tarot experience, and it might tell you the hanged man or someone's going to die, whatever, the priestess. Great. Lovely. But what I found, what I like about the Deck of Ra is that it gives you, like, having been through the school and learnt the work, I think that it actually gives you a very real and profound answer to your reading to your question. That is different and kind of provokes more work rather than just, oh, blah, 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 happy fairy tale answer. It gives an opportunity to go, oh, wow, this is it. This is what might be blocking it. This is how I can work. And, or it might even show up that something's been a MerKaBa, or is there a MerKaBa? And I think that's great, because it then provokes me to go back and go, what can I work on here to make this, or what's bad about this in a better way, and a way that actually is a tool, rather than, we're not dismissing tarot being a tool, but it's a tool that I can integrate with my work and my own practices in a new way, which I really find valuable about it. And part of the reason, what we're loving
less
about
fortune telling. It's less fortune telling and more frequency telling.
Absolutely. And I think what's good about doing this study of the runes is, I mean, we're going to incorporate in some of the jewelry different runes. So perhaps you're having something you're working with or aligning with, it can all be incorporated. And it's cool to learn about, I think.
Hey, wouldn't it be nice to have matching, like, rings if you were lovers, like you wanted to, and you could do your own sigil each? No, not you and me, dears. I'm talking about, do you know what I mean? Like, someone comes to you and goes, hey, I really want to work with something that represents my relationship. I really want to, design something with you, blah, blah, blah. And then you could zoom it up with all the 528s and all the really great, jujus, and then a little bit of Ramu Ted in there for protection, a bit of EMF shit. Like, it's like a full service car on your finger.
I just think
well, I'm assuming a ring, but I mean, it could be a pendant.
But I think that the runes are cool too, because you have these ones that are from the deck or from your work, which I love, and I use them, and even when I'm meditating, I can feel myself inside different, like, you can feel the runes when you're meditating, or you take your attention to that, and it's cool because it gives you information about it. But I think it's also cool, which I think might be a course that you're going to run, is creating your own rune. And that's pretty cool, because
it's creating your own oracle.
Like, yes. But if in that there is included the rune situation, which I might develop my own rune that is, I don't know, going to be fabulous, whatever. But
why not?
It's cool.
That's all they are. They encompass message. They encompass were like a feeling. They encompass something that when the other person sees it, or when you are communicating with it, or you're using it in ritual, you're bringing in all the energies with it. Another reason why I wanted to create Deck of Ra, Runes of Ra, was because these runes have no straight lines. There's a few that intersect, but what it means is they're not used as harvesting tools to draw energy.
You can't
Like,
record as straight lines though.
I can't hear you, Darsh. You have to come closer to the computer.
The Akashic Records rune has straight lines. That's the only one with straight lines.
Yeah,
but it's not a geometry.
Yeah.
No geometries.
No geometries, only the MerKaBa ones. So they are a little bit harder to draw because they're curves, right? But what I've noticed is when I draw, for example, closed dreaming, which is a complete circle, and when you draw these things, you draw it with intention. It's not just like fucking whatever, right? You need to be taught. I don't know. There's instructions in the book. But when you draw them, particularly with a circle, what you'll notice is when you're totally centered and on point, the circle's nearly perfect. You know, when you're all, so is the circle. So it's kind of interesting that your state of mind comes through in how you're, you know, approaching or drawing the sigil, for instance. So you don't have to just use one. You can incorporate a couple of them together, etc. But we started with Mu because first of the deck, and hashtag back yourself. Shall I go through what the Mu thing is in the cards, or, you know, so shall I say
I think you should go through what the Mu thing is from you. Just describe it from you.
Okay.
Don't read it from the card. Just tell us from you.
So Mu is the consciousness of the planet we love and live on. Mu is not Mother Earth, it ain't Gaia, and it's not Sapphire. Mu is a consciousness and a frequency, as is Ra. Ra is not a person, it's a consciousness / frequency. Okay, so when you work with these different frequencies, they create other frequencies. So it's not about, I'll just change the name. You do that. Off you go, trot, trot. It's not like that at all. We initiate you into these things.
Well, a lot of people talk about the universe and they go, there's, you know, I'm going to ask the universe is going to give me blah, blah, blah. Since learning this work, and I used to be one of those people that would go, the universe, you know, the universe is going to bring me the love of my life. The universe is going to do me blah, blah, blah. Great. You know, and I think that there's like, this is my perspective of it, and correct me if you disagree, but I think that there's so many, you know, you have religions and different things, but at the end of the day, it's all energy, right? And so you might be praying to Allah, and I'm not dismissing anyone in their faith, but I think it's a way to direct and utilize the energy. Our way of looking at it is Ra. Ra is the creator energy, the energy that you feel all around you when you go, you know, when you get those tingles those goosebumps on your skin when something feels like it's right on, and you go, wow, I feel like that is Ra for me. And the Mu is like the planetoid that we're on, like Earth, you know. So, but that to me, I feel like the two of them in unison is the, you know, what some people might say is the universe, but I find this so much more profound because you're bringing in the vibe energy of all around, which is the Ra, and then you're drawing on the planet and the Earth around us, which is Mu. And that for me, when combined with my own energy and essence, and I would know that you would agree with this, is the best, most powerful energy of creative energy, because you're bringing it all in, and it's you as well. You're your own creative energy. You don't need anyone else to come and save you and bring, you know, you can do it and you can create it.
Yeah, baby, all right, you've graduated. You can write the next book. Beautiful. No, but precisely. So when anyone's asking for the universe, they're usually also asking out of want. And if you're asking out of want, you're asking out of what's not there. Therefore, that's what you're going to keep drawing, what's not fucking there. So if you can turn it into a desire, it's there. You can feel it in the desire. It's a different way of expression. And you use Mu and Ra, that desire not only will happen, but it will happen in such a way that was bigger and better than your little mind could ever have conceived. And your essence has taken over, and wowza-rooney.
Yeah.
Wowza-rooney.
I feel like that's a big learning for me as well in the feeling of between the want, which is only going to draw the shadow. And I've had to learn a lot with that. And you've been very helpful in me learning with that. But and the
I
feeling
don't know
of
if
desire.
helpful is the word.
I don't know, but you have. I've
I know,
been
but
so.
just understand, people, when you come and study with me, I take no fucking prisoners. So the girl's very brave and she's very confronting of self. So, you know, like, hats off to her. These are big discoveries and lots of, you know, ego shedding. So bravo, darling, bravo.
Kind, but you've been an incredible facilitator of that, bitch slap or not.
All right, I'll take that. Yeah.
But I think it's great. It's easy. It's so easy to get pulled into that want, but in the knowing and the remembering of the desire, you actually feel it like aligning, and you feel it going, this is the most powerful manifestation technique I can possibly be using, in comparison to this, oh, it's not happening to me yet, or why isn't it happening? It just pushes that
The
further
universe
away.
is being a bitch. The universe isn't delivering. You haven't been good to the universe. Oh, but it's so like, will Santa bring it? You know, there's no autonomy. There's no, you know, somehow you're involved in it. It's just like this vagary about the universe. And if anyone has a fucking clue about that soup that is the universe, you wouldn't be asking it for fucking mail delivery, let alone what you're, you know, my heart's desire, so to speak.
I also think
Yeah.
that kind of comes back to what we touched on before, of like, everyone is getting such instant gratification that it's kind of like this, our world is, everyone's waiting for the knight in shining armor to ride in and save you, or, you know, the universe to save you, something to land in your lap.
But have you noticed with that
and
instant gratification, right? It's like it lands
yeah,
in your lap and then it's like, oh, next. You know, it's like it wasn't what you thought it was going to be.
yeah,
Wasn't
I
what you
have
thought it was
noticed
going
that.
to be.
I know someone who was like, you know, it had been this big thing for them to get this fancy car, like really fancy car. And I could tell that there was a lot of, what's the word for it? There was a lot a lot of ideals around them getting this car and how it was going to affect their life, and
Represented
everything's
so much.
I think you know who I'm talking about. And it was like, the car's going to be this wow thing, and it's going to change their life. And they got the car, and it was this great car, but they were kind of just like, oh, like, meh, and didn't really do anything for them. And I think they were a bit disappointed about that as well, because they were kind of like, this material item didn't bring me the gratification that I was hoping that it would. And this sense of, I think they were putting also a little bit of ideals that it might have helped them have a bit of a sense of identity or completion in their life, but really they needed to go within. But they were looking external, which, as you've spoken about previously, the heliocentric versus geocentric.
Yeah, geocentric. I love a good geocentric. That fucking changed my life. You know, bring the moths to the flame. You're the flame. Changed it completely. And I think it's like, I think people need to realize, to go on these journeys of self, you need to commit to self. It's not about, you know, gratifying someone else's blah, blah, blah. It's like, in the end, it's only you. And to realize that it's confronting. You know, it's not all, oh, just, you know, crystals and unicorns. It's not like that at all. There's some pretty amazing feelings, like the old cosmic orgasm doesn't go astray. You know, like there's some amazing experiences that you couldn't trade for anything. Oh, fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, there you go. That was fucking groovy.
Sorry, we're talking about, I don't know, I lost it too, sorry.
Exactly. Oops. So anyway, back to the mooster. So if you look at the mooster as the consciousness we love and live on, it's, I mean, I often refer to her as Mother Moo, but rather than mother as in you have to look after me, it's mother as in a provider, and then I provide back to her my appreciation, my energy, my, you know, whatever. But also when you start to, when you've had the original spell removed and you ride, when you pull up from Moo, there's a a palpable energy that will definitely be a support, an assist, a healing, a grounding, a source of information, etc. So, I mean, get on it. You know, I can't say it more. Anyway, so in the deck,
there's something about Moo that is nurturing in a sense. And I think that that's why you say kind of situation, because she has this nurturing kind of vibe and frequency. And so like I personally, and yeah, the Moo card. But she helps with, I mean, I find in my experience, when you're feeling like you need that hug or whatever, you can just go and hang out with Moo, and it kind of, she nurtures you in a way and makes you feel as though you've got this in a way.
Well, you're not alone. You know, so it's easy to be lonely. In a fucking stack of people, you can be lonely. But I've found that Moo always makes me feel whole. Not because she's filling me in, but because she's reminding me of who I am, you know? I mean, love affair with the Mooster. But in using, so we did our Sunday sacrament. Moo was front and foremost. So we haven't had a post-mortem on it. I sort of saved it for this. So what was your experience? How did you work with did you have an upload, download, reload, whatever? Well, obviously you've had something because you're speaking about her in, you know, different way.
Well, it's been a journey for me with all of that, I think. And yesterday was, it was interesting. We set with the intention. So Moo specifically, especially in the card, is very much back yourself. So my experience yesterday, my meditation yesterday was all about that. And it was really interesting of just the different things that came up, of things that within my life that had made me doubt myself. And so within connecting with Moo, I suddenly was flooded with all of these memories of things that had made me go, I can't do this, I'm not good enough. I'm sorry. Something. No, it was a piece of my hair, I think. And it was cool because in my meditation it came up so that I could clear it. And afterwards, I then felt suddenly much more like I'd felt a little bit of a block in my own creative inspiration in the past kind of week. And I suddenly felt excitement to do it, excitement to get back on it and create and set up. And that's great. That's where I want to be. But in my own experience, I've had a lot of like fear of failure and doubting myself. And so I've not finished things and not done things as much as I'd like to, because I've just
I want you to go into that here, right? Because I think it's a binding.
Okay.
So feel it. Because I was doing the Mooster, as were you, and I got to the point where I drew the sigil, or I drew the rune around me, you know, in my feeling.
Yeah, energetically. You felt it around you.
Energetic. And I felt myself in the 3D version of it, and I felt it like, you know, just whatevs. And then I decided to do the feels for the upcoming workshop, seeing the auras and energy. And I love that one. You know, it's so much fun. I think you've done it. You were at the last one with the plagiarist.
Right. I probably did it. I would have done it like two years ago, maybe. No, but it's great because it helps you in seeing and feeling more. It's such a great introduction. I loved it. And it's fun too.
But anyway, so I was vibing that, right? And I was like, okay, I was into the prosperity fields for it. And this fucking was like a shroud. And it was fear and like this real fucking, I was, what? The actual? Anyway, I kept going into it and I could feel it again. Like I'd feel and then I'd go to a certain level and this shutdown. And I thought, yeah, nah. And so I sat with Moo, pulled up from Moo, put the sigil in, through and around. And the next thing you know, I got this big, that's a binding. You've been bound. Wow. So the Mooster and myself unbound me, shall we say. Right. Anyway, so in working with her, was able, and also, the other things that we do in consciousness warrior training, was able to remove that. And I felt really differently about it since. I've really felt the moo hashtag. I've really felt her, yeah, let's fucking do this. I felt it unashamedly a success. I felt it like just more excitement than fear. It just blew my fucking mind. And so I'm going to thank the Mooster for it, not the universe. But yeah, this going through and the individual thing is really, it's special. It really brings focus in a different way. Like when I created them, it was like a whirlwind. It was a full upload, download, reload. And then in writing what everything is in the deck and how to like create the sigils, and, you draw them in certain ways. Like when you draw the Mooster one, for instance, starting at the top, it's like there's an encompassing and then an embodiment. It's not just so to speak. So it's like going through them like this is giving it another perspective for me. Another way to look at things. And it's really exciting because it's doing it with you, and Johnny's joining in his own little way. So it's fun. I think only good things can come of it, put it that way. So
I was going to say, sorry, the lag. I was going to say, I think it's like anything though, when you reread it or you relearn it or you go through it again, you take away new things. Like I found that when I reread the Initiate and memoirs, I picked up things that I didn't even get before. And I think that from like, I experienced one of the first times I read it, I don't think I had the frequency to actually interpret and understand it properly. Like I remember I was like, and then since then I've read it more times and I actually get it. And you understand it more and you feel it more because you're actually in a space to be able to go bang and it locks and loads and you have the understanding. And I think that's great. Yeah.
And it's written in a way to awaken. So, it might have taken a few times beating you over the head with it, but hey, you're awoken. But the memoirs is written in Seki's voice. It's different, and that's very much to go deep into a cellular level, if you will, to awaken codes to remind you of your experience in Atlan Ra, Lemura, who you were before this consciousness invasion, so to speak. And then Initiate far more my voice. And it's, what to expect when you come here, sure. But it's got a lot of instruct in it. There's like getting into essence from that is like we've had people come here and they've actually gone to essence without my help from reading the Initiate, which is
pretty cool. You've written it in a way and also packed energy into it that it's purpose built to do that. It's actually meant to trigger people. It's not like it's just
it's not just words.
Like actually,
it's magic. That's why when the plagiarists get at it, it's like no message. There's no transmission. Dilution. Anywho, so next week we'll be doing essence. So that'll be interesting because I feel that during the week you get the vibe all, you know what I mean? It's the whole time. So it's like you'll be doing moo all week. All these things about backing yourself, etc., will come up. And I think too, or you have a solid, good relationship with the Mooster, you'll see the feminine relationships around you blossom.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, we should do Avalon too, because that's another one which really brings the feminine together. That's a nice girly one, get your chicks together and we do that. Sorry, I'm just looking at one of the cats being naughty. It's one of my girl cats. So she's come over to say hello. It's Girl Club. So so look, coming up, we're doing this
Seeing
auras. So it's seeing auras and energy. The first part of it, I do take you to essence. I do connect you with Ramu Tet so you understand feels, because really what we're doing is we're turning on your intuition, and your intuition is feels. It ain't your mind. It's not a voice fucking talking and all that shit. It's the feels. It's a knowing. It's a claircognizance. So that's the first part of it. And then we go into the different exercises, and everyone sees something. Don't worry about that. It's really cool. It's fun too. And you can keep practicing. You've got Essence, Mu-Ra, and the Psychic Sight. It's one of the modules from the SEO, but I decided to do it separately because it's fun. And everyone, when you start to see something, when phenomena starts to happen to you, it changes how you see the world.
I said, I think it's a good
A good
introduction.
Yeah, totes. And if you missed that one, then we've got Claim, Embody, Radiate, the foundation course. So we go to Essence, Mu and Ra. I was going to say Ra, Mu. I nearly got them mixed up. And learning how to use it as an energy for manifestation, as an energy for healing, connection, etc., or discovery, whatever you want to use it for. And then after that, we do the rituals, which is a way to go further with the work, but also hone in on a particular thing. So you've done Love Is, not Isabel,
Yes.
Love Is. And I'm just trying to think. Well, usually on that day, we do the Essence one, Essence and Lineage ritual, but we skipped that and went straight to Love Is for You. There's also one for prosperity and one for health and well-being. The prosperity one fucking works. That's all I can say. Really
Right.
does. Here, Isabel's in the middle of it right now. But yeah, I'm into practical shit. I'm not into fucking, you got to do the practice for 40 years. I'm not into any of that. It's like wham, bam, let's fucking make it work. Because let's face it, people, we are on a time frame. I'm sorry, but we are.
Oh, we want to be able to utilize it now, so you can be the best version of whatever you want to be in the now, not in the 5 years time after you've mastered the blah blah blah. Like, you want to be able to use these in your everyday life now.
I mean, do you honestly think there's 5 years? Because this reality is ready to it's a powder keg, babe. It's ready to go. 5 years ago, could you imagine the now? No. So imagine in 5 years what it's going to be like. We're either going to be all Elon Musk's little bitch, right? Hooked up to fucking, Borg, or we're all going to start going the artisan path. It's all going to start, like, the great divide's going to begin. I mean, I can totally look, for a while there was always two Earths, and I can feel that divide. Like, the timelines are shifting. There's no way that those two timelines can coexist in the same space. One has to move. So you're either going to be on one or the other, is what I'm saying. Oh, I don't know. Pontification. If you go on anyway, because we're talking about, Deck of Ra and everything, right? So we're talking about Deck of Ra and purchasing. If you go on to and join the websites, like you join the mailing lists, you get a coupon or a code to get $10 off. So it basically makes the shipping almost free in Australia anyway. So it's sort of, little deals like that. You get to know what's going on. I don't post that much. I'm pretty slack. Sorry, people. I'm not. I sort of spend more doing the work than talking about it. Get on the socials. I mean, not so much Facebookery, but that other one, Insta. I'm usually on that, like, with what's going on. You know what I mean?
I'm conscious, curious, looking up through people.
Conscious, curious, get on it. All right. Anyway, we'll be talking about essence next. So get your essence on. Meanwhile, it's a moo week. So we might even do some posts or something about the moo stuff. I don't know. Fucking, I'm winging this shit, people. Winging it. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you at these events. This one's the 1st of March, I think. I can do it I've done it online before, but I do like it in person. There's nothing like being on Casavira.
Not online, it's in person.
Like Casavira, there's beautiful flora and fauna here, and then of course you get lovely lunch from Alive and Wild. Plant-based.
That's not even the best of it. I think that the actual in-person transmission is what is the most, it's, yes, you
Totally.
can have an experience online, but when you feel it in person, it's much more profound. And I think that that's what's the benefit of actually being here.
Well, the thing
Yes.
is, right, this is the difference between online information and in-person experience wisdom is. Like, I'm worth the transmission, people. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I just think that you can have an experience with you online, but I think when you actually have an essence connection where you feel pulling in Mu and Ra together, for me, that was like mind blowing. And to have that in person was so much better than had I had it online. Like, we've done things online together before, and I think it's still there, but the initialness especially is so much better to have in person, and different things come up that you actually might be feeling in the moment of the connection that you want to have an in-person understanding of as well, which I think is
But
really
the AI
important.
hijacks energy. So you get half of what you're given, and it's a miracle that they can still feel it, but I love it that they do. But, it's like, come here to the hinterland, people. I'm worth it. Anywho,
True.
we'll be seeing you next week, my lovelet, or next time we convene. Have a wonderful, productive, exciting thing. And I'm looking forward to seeing the next piece of jewellery.
Me too.